So, in the last episode, we explored how your own team should be embracing a new role if they want to escape being treated as a UX service desk. But even if your team makes that shift, it's not enough. The truth is, you're never going to have the time or resources to handle every touch point yourself. If you want user experience to really scale, you need to equip others across the organization to share the load. And that doesn't mean they are all going to turn into UX professionals all of a sudden, but it does mean that they're going to start taking more ownership of UX decisions in their specific areas and projects. Let's recap why this shift is necessary before exploring what usually trips people up and how to make that first move without overwhelming anybody. It's worth repeating myself because it's so important. Trying to do all the UX yourself is unsustainable. And there are three strong reasons to start sharing the responsibility. First is resource limits. Even the best staffed UX teams can't cover every product, every campaign, every digital touchpoint. Democratization is the only way to scale. Secondly, organizational understanding. If you're the only one making user-centered decisions, the wider company never develops a shared appreciation of UX. It will stay siloed. And third, bigger priorities. There are always strategic tasks, from building a design system to auditing user journeys to shaping long-term vision, that you'll never get to if you're tied up in execution the whole time. Framing democratization this way helps people understand that you're not just pushing work off your plate. It's about removing bottlenecks, growing organizational maturity, and freeing you up to work on what matters the most. Ironically, the hardest part isn't your colleagues resisting, it's us ourselves. User experience practitioners often sabotage democratization without realizing it. Two impulses in particular can be dangerous. First of all, criticizing too much. When somebody outside your team tries to run a survey or sketch a wireframe, it won't be perfect. But if your first instinct is to point out everything they've got wrong, it will kill enthusiasm. A better approach is to acknowledge the effort and celebrate their progress. Say something like, "This was an amazing first step. If you'd like some feedback next time, I'm happy to help." That way they feel supported rather than embarrassed. And secondly, overcomplicating things. We've spent years learning best practice, and it's tempting to throw the whole textbook at people. But colleagues don't need a degree in cognitive psychology to clean up a page layout. They need a single, simple heuristic to help them get started. For example, when I help my colleagues design a page, I don't lecture them about cognitive load, working memory, or progressive disclosure. Instead, I give them three simple questions to ask about every element on a page. Can I remove this? If not, can I hide it? If not, can I shrink it? That's it, just three simple steps. Do they capture the full depth of interaction design? Of course not. But they do create cleaner, clearer pages almost immediately. And crucially, they give people confidence. Once they're comfortable with the basics, they can gradually be introduced to more advanced principles. The lesson here is to resist the urge to teach everything at once to everybody. UX is a huge field, and breaking it down into simple, usable steps that colleagues can actually do makes an enormous difference. Another trap is to try and democratize UX across the entire organization in one go. That just never works. You'll meet too much skepticism and spread yourself too thinly. Instead, handpick your first allies. Look for people who already value UX, because they're the low-hanging fruit. Work with them and they'll amplify your message. Secondly, people who are asking for your help. They're motivated and will gladly take on more if you support them. And then finally, people who feel the pain of poor UX. Marketers, customer support teams, those kinds of people. They see firsthand the cost of bad experiences and are desperate for change. Invest heavily in these groups. Coach them, provide them resources. Sit with them through their first few attempts. Make your support visible. What happens next is important. Others will see the attention that you're giving to these teams and want it too. When somebody asks, "Why are you spending so much time with these people?" you can respond, "I'll gladly help you in the same way." And that's how you build momentum naturally. I'm not suggesting you walk into the next all-hands meeting and declare, "From now on, everyone is a UX practitioner." That's a fast way to scare people off. Instead, quietly build up some examples of collaboration that work. Share success stories. Point to teams who've run a quick test and applied simple design heuristics and in turn saw results. Gradually, the narrative shifts. UX stops being the team over there and becomes something we all do with expert guidance. You'll still face objections along the way about time, skills, or risk, and that's normal. And in the next episode, we're going to explore some of those common pushbacks you hear and how to respond to them without losing momentum.